To my table, come to this table. Today is a new moon, excuse me, full moon. Today is a full moon, and I am super excited to do a full moon spread community style reading for you all today. So yeah, I have a little bit of smoke going for us, and I'm using my releasing blockages spread that I designed for my Cycles of the, oops, let's forget my post-it note, Cycles of the Moon journal that I designed and created just for this purpose of reading for the new and the full moons. I have such a deep attachment to the moon. I can't even really like explain why or how, but I've been leaning into it, and the more I lean into it, the more pronounced it becomes, the more effect I feel from it, the more alignment I get, and the more exciting it gets. So I'm just following it until the cows come home is the expression. So I'm using my, I was going to use my standard Rider-Waite-Smith, but I think I want to use my light seers. So yeah, let me grab that real fast. It's right over here. All right, there we go. I'm going to have my light, yep, this feels perfect. I want my light seers. Our light seers is really good for, and like more of emotion. Like I feel like my Rider-Waite-Smith is wonderful for practicals, but this is really good for understanding and seeing emotion. And I have a little bit of ocean jasper and labradorite that I just want nearby for good measure. For reasons that make me feel fizzy is what I leave it to. So what do I want today? I want my tarot oil and my Queen of Wands, I think is what we're going to use. Okay, there we go. Warm things up a bit. My working oil. I know it may look weird, but this is something that I love to do. Any oil that I use, if it has a dropper with it, I love to give myself one, and then my candle one. It's kind of like how you give like an offering. It's like, here's a little bit of my work for you, your work. Thank you so much for working with me. So it's like thankful and gratitude. A little bit of sprays. Just kind of hops you into state. I love it. Okay, so what we're looking into today, we're looking to understand our blockages, what we need to release, what we need to let go of. The full moon is really wonderful to kind of put the spotlight on a blockage that we have, and then use the energy of the moon to kind of come and close down to a new moon, to kind of release that, to turn that off, to turn the volume down over the time. So I'm going to shuffle my cards, thank my stones for their little bit there. Oops. That's the first card that hops out, so that's always fun. We always kind of like use that as, this is the energy of the read. That's not a bad one in relation to our abundance for the Nine of Cups. So I'm just going to shuffle. We're releasing blockages today. What does my community need to know about the blockages that we have? So the questions that we're going to be reading on is, what is our current focus? So the current blockage that we are focusing on. We're then going to be going in counterclockwise order because we're turning the volume down. We're closing it out. What are we holding on to? Why do I refuse to let this go? How can I release this habit? How can I heal this habit or this blockage? And what advice do we have moving forward? And depending on how I feel, I might hop up and grab my oracle. We shall see. We shall see if we need any additional information. We have additional cards popping out. Often I do include those, but for this one I want to lay out the cards and then come back to them. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Move these cards to the center up here. We'll come back to that later. Off the top. So this is what our current focus or blockage is. What are we holding on to? Why do we refuse to let it go? How can we release this habit? Because it is a habit if we're refusing to let it go. How can we heal that habit? And then advice moving forward. And I just feel the need for more. Yeah, I'm already feeling the need for more. So let's see, what else do we need to know? Maybe that's it. What else do we need to... Actually, I want my shadow card, because I always do that. What else do I need to know? We're going to do 6 cards down over here. We're going to come back to that, see what that's all about. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's off to the side. We're going to hold that. And then this one's shadow card is the Knight of Swords. So that's interesting and dynamic and weird. We'll put this off to the side. We won't even deal with this just as of yet. Let's talk about this particular spread. So our first question, first and foremost, let's actually take a quick peek at the cards that showed up for us here at the top. So the first one that hopped out was the Nine of Cups. The second one that hopped out was the King of Swords. And the third one that hopped out was the Four of Pentacles. So for me, in relation to like what I'm feeling, the energy that I'm tapping into, or what I'm feeling right off, I feel like we all have, or we are experiencing a blockage around our finances, or around our material self-worth, our material, tactile, financial well-being. This is screaming finances to me. So I'm going to proceed with the understanding that this is leaning into our finances. And if you pull a different meaning or a different message out of that, please take it. That is specially and specific for you. For this reading, I'm feeling finances. That's what I'm finding here. So what is our current focus? Ooh, Lovers. So I'm thinking about like our relationship with money, our relationship with financial matters, our relationship to the things that are practical and tangible. So what is it that we're holding on to collectively? You and I, all of us, what is it that we're holding on to? That we need to be right. The Five of Wands is often in conflict, and that there's all these conflicting ideas, all this energy that's being, this is right, no, this is right, no, this is the way, this is what it should be, no, this is what it is. And so with all that conflict, there's actually not a whole lot of peace regarding this. So if this is actually in relation to our money and our connection or relationship with it, the ideas that we have or that we're currently holding is not serving us very well anymore, not serving us right now anyway. So why do I refuse to let this go? My High Priestess. So we feel like that there's this long-term, what is it this feels like? This, I often get this card in relation to what I've been taught no longer matches what I feel. What I've been told is no longer the experience that is being provided to me. So this to me is like all these ways that we've been told how money exists no longer works. It's no longer the place. And so we actually would benefit greatly or more, we'd benefit more from going with our intuition, with going with our feels in our in relation to our financial abundance, rather than the cookie cutter way in which our elders have always told us, or how society has always dictated to us. How can I release this habit? The Strength card. Strength card is wonderful for me in relation to like leading off of the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is our intuition. The Strength card is the courage and the literal strength, the fortitude to follow our natural inclinations. Some things, yes, are 1 + 1 = 2. We get that. Others are a little bit different, especially when it comes to the attraction of new finances, the pulling in of new resources, the bringing to you of things that you desire. So when the Strength card comes up in relation to the High Priestess, I feel like there needs to be a little bit more courage here, that the universe actually does have your back. It is actually working for you instead of against you, but there's often this need to relax about it, relax on the topic. And if it brings up anxiety, we need to let it go, because that anxiety portion of it is what's keeping your financial abundance at bay. So if you're trying to bring this in, if you're trying to shift the relationship that you have with your finances, follow that intuition, hun bunch, and then figure out a way to keep and maintain a relaxed point of view on it. How can I heal this habit? Right. First, we need to honor the fact that we have the habit. The Eight of Wands is that self-accountability card. This is the card, it's like we've wrapped ourselves in our own bindings. We've wrapped ourselves in our own bondage. Yes, originally it was handed to us. Yes, we originally got wrapped up in it, but our staying here is a choice. Our staying in this point of view is our perspective, our own doing, our own way of being. So we can decide to do something differently. But first we have to honor or even acknowledge that something has happened or that thing has occurred, if that makes sense. And if it doesn't, totally let me know in the comments and I will clarify. I will clarify, darling. I want to get back to that little pretty like circle spread that I had. There we go. Advice for moving forward. Two of Pentacles. This is interesting that it's a finance question and we've gotten another Pentacle card here. advice moving forward, deciding, making decisions, because you are going to have this, you are going to have that. And there's going to be a weighing between the things that you want and what you don't want, or the things that you like or that you don't like, or what you have to do versus what you need to do or you got to do. So it's just feeling your way through that, feeling your way around that, feeling your way through this. I actually want to pull more information off this card in particular. So I'm going to take my set. What more do you want us to know? I'm going to pull right off the top. The wheel. So this balancing act that we got going, this is always going to happen. Like, just because you get it solved right now doesn't mean it's never going to happen again for us. Especially if you think about it a lot. Especially if you think about it a lot. If it's something that's on your mind all the time, you're always going to be worrying about finances. You're always going to be worrying about money. And it's going to be that thing that kind of walks you down the spiral, walks you down the perpetual rabbit hole that is your mind. So my first invitation or suggestion is figuring out a way. So that's the advice for moving forward. Figuring out a way to get out of the rabbit hole that is I'm worried about my finances. I'm worried about my financial point of attraction to my money. There's another Pentacle card. So the Five of Pentacles is eternally the lack card. This is the key is here, the lock is there, and these two aren't together, and this poor soul is just disappointed, sad, and upset. So with the King of Wands, I love that energy, and then the Ten of Wands, letting go of that shit that doesn't serve us, those feelings that do not serve us, those burdens, letting go of those responsibilities that we don't want anymore, letting go of anything that's weighing on us more than it actually be, and it may actually take some hard decisions. If you have a car that you can no longer afford, it might be a good opportunity to let that go, sell the car, surrender it back to the dealer, whatever it is that you need to do to take care of yourself, to take care of your finances, to get you back into a state of peace instead of a state of weighted anxiety. These cards are all weighted anxiety, and I just want to give you a hug because it's unnecessary. It's not something that is supposed to happen. It is not necessary to go through. So the shadow card, the feeling for this entire read was the World card. The World card talks about how, for me anyway, the way I read the World card is, this card is when you have gone out into the world and you've come back changed. You've come back and you've learned something. You've garnered something, and now is the time to apply what you have learned in your day-to-day life. So yeah, that is kind of cool for a releasing of blockages spread. I'm kind of like proud and impressed with that. Yay! But I do want to see what these 6 cards have to say to us, because they wanted some more of our attention. So let's pull those in and let's see what they wanted us to know. What did they want us to know? Let's see if I can flip them over first. Hazards of Nails. Page of Swords. 6 of Pentacles. Some more money cards. That's kind of cool. 6 of Cups, aw. Okay, 3 of Pentacles, the Magician, and the Queen of Cups. I feel like there's someone here who is also struggling with this a little bit more profoundly than others. So, to those of you that this is resonating with a little extra, because you know when you've seen something and you're like, oh my god, is she like following me? I'm feeling like that there's preemptively that person that is feeling that at the moment. So honey, you are exploring new ideas. That is amazing. Please continue to do it. It is in your best interest. You are doing this correctly. No worries there. You have the 6 of Cups along with the 6 of Pentacles. I love that both of these are here because they're creative energy cards. The 6 of Pentacles is that give and take. So whatever that new idea is that you are exploring, that new idea that you are beginning on, that's an awesome idea, and it's worth following. It's worth making those connections. It's worth doing the give and take to get that worked out. Also, the 6 of Cups to me often is a past life association. So I wouldn't be surprised in this goal or this idea that you have that it's actually something that you may have done before. And so that may be the reason as to why you're so profoundly drawn to it, or why you're drawn to the topic around it, is because this is something that is in your kind of like spiritual DNA. This is part of your internal dialogue, internal being, internal structure, and it's in your heart to do whatever this idea is. The 3 of Pentacles is all about like our work projects, our work ideas, our work processes. So that's amazing that in addition to everything else, it's coming down to our mode of employment, essentially, or at least the things that we do in relation to others. The thing that I want to remind you, dear sweet soul, whoever it is that is kind of like jaw dropping at the moment, you are your best magician. You don't have to seek validation from others, from me, from anybody else to know that you are doing the right thing. The only person whose opinion matters is yourself, is your own. So don't worry about what other people think. You are doing just fine, sweet soul. Queen of Cups basically said what I just did. Honey, you are just fine. You are doing exactly what you need to. Following your emotions and following your heart is going to be what's in your best interest. And I want you to continue to do that. I want you to keep going with that. So you are actually just doing just fine. Alrighty, you all. Well, that wraps it up for the full moon reading for today. It was releasing blockages and this additional little read for whoever actually needs it. So you take care. Have a great rest of your day.